Hello, my name is Reverend Dr. May Elise Cannon. I'm the Executive Director of Churches for Middle East Peace. Today is the daily update for Wednesday, March 13th. Today is the 159th day since the attacks by Hamas on South Israel. Today, my update, I wanted to share just a short bit of news today, and then a little bit of some personal updates. Qatar says that Israel and Hamas are not near a deal on the Gaza truce, that they're not even close to a deal on the cessation of hostilities in Gaza and releasing hostages. Qatar is acting as a mediator, and that's the news on that update today. It's believed that there could be 100 or more hostages still alive. We at Churches for Middle East Peace are calling for them to be returned home in exchange for prisoners, while calling for a comprehensive ceasefire. Another incident of those seeking aid in North Gaza, where they were shot by soldiers. It's been reported that 9 Palestinians were killed, dozens injured when crowds awaiting aid trucks at the Kuwait Square in Gaza City were fired upon. A charity ship that has been docked in Cyprus for close to a month finally set sail for Gaza, taking almost 200 tons of aid in a pilot project to open up a new sea route for aid to a population on the brink of famine. For the second straight day, Israeli military fired on Baalbek inside of Lebanon, and today Israel struck 2 Hezbollah military command centers in response to Hezbollah rocket launches toward northern Israel earlier in the day. And South Africa's foreign minister said today that her country's citizens who fight in the Israeli armed forces or alongside of them in Gaza will be arrested when they return home, deepening the rift between the nations after South Africa laid accusations of genocide against Israel at the United Nations top court, the International Court of Justice. The U.S. carried out airstrikes that hit port cities and small towns in western Yemen, killing at least 11 people and injuring 14. A spokesperson for Yemen's internationally recognized government has told Reuters. I learned last night, and I apologize, I did miss this over the weekend, but on Saturday, the United States marked its first National Hostage and Wrongful Detainee Day. So bipartisan legislation was signed into law by President Biden establishing March 9th, so a few days ago, as a day of remembrance for Americans wrongly held overseas. The Hostage and Wrongful Detainee Day Act was introduced and shepherded through Congress by Representatives Haley Stevens and French Hill and Senator Chris Coons. The measure created a national flag for wrongfully detained Americans and hostages, and it was raised for the first time over the State Department on Friday alongside of the American flag. It is black and yellow, and it is reminiscent of the Americans' prisoner of war and those missing in action flag. It has been used or will be used, for some of the hostages who have been held in Gaza. I learned today, today's Wednesday, we've been meeting every Wednesday. We had prayer gatherings once a month before October 7th, and we've been meeting weekly since to gather in prayer. And I learned today that a young man from the Latin Catholic Church in Gaza, his name is Serbian Turk. It sounds like maybe he'd fallen off a roof. I couldn't get the story. I heard this through people, but that he had been severely injured and that he died yesterday because he could not get access to medical attention. And so prayers for his family and that God would be close to them during his home. I found out late last night that a friend and colleague I know in Gaza, Nasser Abu Anwar, I'm heartbroken. This gentleman welcomed me and colleagues from CMEP into his home in Gaza in May of 2022. We shared a generous meal with his family. He's a Muslim man, or was a Muslim man. The head of his family, he would tease me because he said I traveled so much that my husband was so gracious. He said my husband should take a second wife because I was away from him too much. He was gentle and kind. We talked about the theological differences between Islam and Christianity. Nasser Abu Anwar was the dean of the Faculty of Nursing at the Islamic University, and one of our small victories at Churches for Middle East Peace was that we were able to help him get permits from Israel for his daughter to be able to get to Jerusalem, to be able to get cancer treatment. His daughter died. She was not able to successfully battle cancer. But I learned in the middle of the night that Nasser was killed in an Israeli airstrike, along with 7 members of his family a few weeks ago. And it was just another heartbreak in the middle of this trauma. And so might God show him and his family mercy. But do not be discouraged, friends. I've been in a lot of meetings. I met with a rabbi friend of mine from Israel this morning, and there is a lot of work to be done. And but may we not give up hope, and may we not give up meeting with people with whom we disagree. And I have to say, this is just my humble opinion, but now is when we most need to press in and to hold on to the hope that we profess, that Jesus, called us not only to love our neighbors and to love our enemies. And how can we love them if we won't meet with them? And that doesn't mean compromising on calling for a comprehensive ceasefire and calling out against the massive deaths and atrocities. And I never thought I had enemies until I started to work in the Middle East. And it's not that I have declared anyone my enemy, but others have declared me theirs. My heart is broken. Might God heal our broken hearts and expand our capacity to love and not to hate? And how can we love others and call others to love when we're so limited in our own capacity? So I thought I would close with the scripture, John chapter 15. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. And if you keep my commands and you remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. For greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. And we're called to love our friends and also our enemies. And so do not give up hope. Continue to call that weapons and violence might be brought to an end, and to work together for a comprehensive ceasefire, and that the core issues of this horrific violence might be brought to an end.